All right, good morning, guys. Let's get started. In the last class, I said that in this class, I'm gonna introduce the application of database system. Well, the database management system used in this class is Microsoft Access, and I hope you guys have had this application installed on your laptop, Microsoft Access. Well, before we get started, let's have a quick review of the contents introduced in the last class. In the last class, I primarily introduced the relational model, which is the model that we currently use in nowadays database management system. And in this model, let's see, in this slide, I introduced the relationships between different tables. Well, as you can see in this slide, in a database, there are many tables. And why we call this model is relational model? That's because each table is related by by application of foreign key. Well, for example, here we can see sales region table, sales regions, and the other table is sales orders, where these two tables are interrelated by foreign key, which means the primary key in one table and a non-key attributes in another table. Well, in this case, we can see the foreign key is region number. This key or this field works as the foreign key to relate these two tables together. And we can see that in this case, region number serves as the primary key in sales regions table. And again, the primary key means the attribute that uniquely identifies one record in that table. And also, we can see this attribute also serves as a non-key attribute in sales order table right here in sales orders table. So by imposing the application of region number, we can interconnect these two tables together. And in addition to this, we can also see the application of foreign key interconnecting other tables in this database. Well, this is the relations of tables in a database. And here we also introduce relationships between entities and events. Three types: one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. Well, let's see what else. We also learned some table rules, and I'm gonna show you how these rules are applied in database tables. Also, we learned another important point, that is referential integrity. In referential entity and in referential integrity, where entity integrity means that the primary key in the table cannot be null value and must be unique. And referential integrity means that a foreign key must either be null or match an existing value in the master table for the foreign key. Well, this is a quick recap of what we learned in the last classes. So today, I'm gonna use a sample database. Looks like this. Well, this sample database can be downloaded from Canvas, or you can find it in Canvas under homework right here. Let me show you. Okay, if you go to assignments, homework 4, here it is. You click this, download this, and open it. But you have to have Access installed on your laptop in order to open it. Well, if you open it, you can see this. Yes, if you open this, you can see this interface. Well, let me give you a brief introduce. On the left panel, we can see the 3 basic elements in Access. These 3 basic elements are tables, queries, and forms. You can see tables, queries, and forms. Well, in tables, in this collection, these are the most primary elements in the database, as I said. A database, I said, in the relational model database, there are many tables existing and interrelated together, again, by use of the foreign key. Well, for example, let's open some tables. Context table. We double click context, and here we can see the contents in this table. Well, in this table, we can see 4 fields with 5 records. These 4 fields are contact number, EID, CNO, and date contacted. These 5 records are here: first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay, this is context table. Let's open another one. For example, the shippers. In shippers table, we can also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can see 5 fields: shipper number, name, address, phone number, and balance. In this table, we can see 2 records. First one has the shipper number 901 and the name to be UPS. Here's the second bracket with the shipper number 902 and the name to be FedEx. Okay, this is the tables, and as I said, in a database system, the tables are the elements that are interconnected. One table has a relationship to another table. So this is how we see the relationship. We go to Database Tools tab and click Relationships. Okay, here we can see the relationships of each different tables. Let's see an example of sales orders table and customer table. Let's see the relationships between these two tables. Well, for the sales order table, it records different sales orders. Well, we can have a look. Sales order table. Here it is. In sales order table, the structure has five attributes. These 5 attributes: order number, date, which means date placed, customer number, which means this order is placed by which customer. EID means employee ID. Well, it means this order is created by which employee. And last attribute, amount, the amount of this order, dollar amount. And we can see 12 brackets in this table, which means there are 12 orders recorded in this table. 12 orders. Okay, this is sales orders table. And next, let's see the customer table. The first attribute is CNO, customer number, which means which is the primary key in customer number. Well, even though, as I said in this slide, oh yes, here it is. Even though in the table rules it says the sequence of rows and columns is immaterial, but conventionally in database we always list the first attributes as the primary key. We always list the first attributes. I mean, conventionally, we list the first attributes as the primary key. Well, in the customer table, CNO serves as the primary key, and we can see some other attributes to be non-key attributes. They are names, address, phone number, balance, and credit limit. Well, let's close this table. Okay, here in relationships, we can see the relationship between sales orders and customers. Well, by relationships, we see the line interconnecting these two tables, this line. Well, we can see this line interconnecting sales orders table and customer table. Well, let's see. What's the relationship between these two tables? As I said, in sales order table, there is CNO, customer number. These fields also appears in sales orders number, where CNO in sales order number refers to this sales order is placed by which customer. So we can see this line connecting these two tables, customer and sales order table, on CNO attributes, customer number attributes, because here this attribute serves as the foreign key, which connects these two tables. Well, personally, I would like to say a foreign key is a connector that connects two tables. Okay, this is the relationship between sales order and customer table. These two tables are connected using the foreign key CNO. Well, we can see that this attribute is the foreign key in sales order table, but the primary key in customer table. Another thing you should focus on is here. This one sign on customer side and infinite sign on sales order side, sales order table side. So what does it mean? It means many. Well, it means one to many relationship. Go back to this slide. I said relationship between entities and events can be of three types: one-to-one, one-to-many, or many-to-many. In this case, in this database, here we can see the relationship between customer and sales order is one to many, which this relationship indicates that one customer could place one or many orders, but one order should be placed by exactly one customer. And again, this one-to-many relationship between customer and sales order table means that one customer can place one or many orders, but one sales order could be placed by exactly one customer. That's it. So here is the relationships between each different tables. And you can also see the relationship between many other tables, like the shippers, shipments, shippers, shipments, employees, and the contacts, etc., etc. In Access, these lines or this diagram is automatically created by the background process of Access. Okay, let's close this. Well, this is relationship and tables. Next, in addition to tables, we also have the queries, which is your last homework. I'm gonna show you how to use Microsoft Access to create some queries. Well, what is a query? The query is basically a tool that is able to answer some specific questions regarding to the information extracted from tables. Well, before I create some simple queries, I would like to show you some of them. For example, the shipping queries. And we can open this design view. Well, in the query, there are 3 views listed here. These 3 views are: first, datasheet view; second, SQL view; and third is design view. Well, the second one, SQL view, is out of the scope of this class. Well, basically, in SQL view, it means you use SQL, which is a database language program, to write the specific queries on yourself. But this class will not focus on the programming things. So we just focus on the first and third one, where the first one is the results of this view of this query. The results of this query. And the third one is the GUI design tool of this query. And when you design the query graphically in this view, the SQL sentence is automatically created. So let's see, what does it mean in this view? Basically, it means this view shows all the shipments, all the shippings from shipment table, sales order table, and customer table. Okay, let me see it like this. Well, this query shows the shipment information. And in this query, we can see the shipment number, the date, of shipments and the order number related with these shipments. We can also see the related customer number, which means this shipment is shipped to which customer. In addition to customer number, we also see the customer name, and also we can see the shipper number, which means this shipment is shipped by which shipper, UPS or FedEx, right? So here it lists the name of the shipper. Also, we see the shipment weight and the charge of this shipment and the date delivered of this shipment, as well as the EID. The EID means which employee prepares this shipment. And lastly, the name of this employee. Well, this is a query created under access. So in this class, I'm going to create 4 basic sample queries for you. And your last homework will be based on these 4 sample queries created in my class, in this class. Well, let's see. First of all, a very basic one, that is to create a query that returns all the employees' records. Okay, this is how we create a query. We go to create and find query design. Okay, here it is. When we go to query design, we can drag the related tables from the right panel. But here, I just want to create a query that returns all the employees' records. So the only table that you need to work with is employee table. So here on the right panel, we find employees table, and drag it to this area, or we can simply double click it. Well, we can see that in employees table, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 8 attributes in this table. Well, our goal is to create a query that returns all the employees' records, and also with all the records. All the records with all the fields. So we simply drag each attribute or each field under here. Department, grade, phone number, date hired, salary and commission rates. Okay, and we make sure that show is selected, means this attribute is shown in this query. Okay, now this query is done. We can show the results of this query by going back to datasheet view. Well, here it is. We can see this query is successfully created and completed. To save this query, we simply close it. Do you want to save changes to this design of query? And we click yes. And here we can rename this query. Well, we simply save this query as query 1 and click OK. And here on the queries, we can find this newly created query 1 right here. If we want to open this query, we double click it. Now we can see the results of this query. Let's go to the second sample query. We would like to design a query query that returns the sales order placed by customer number equals to 102. Well, as you can see in this query, there is a criteria, right? The criteria is the sales order placed by customer number equals to 102. Okay, let's create a new query and let me show you how to define criteria in the query. Let's go to Create tab and click Query Design. Well, in the second query, we want to show the sales order, all the attributes of sales order, which is placed by customer 102. So we know that in this query, we need to work with sales orders table. So we go to, in the right panel, we click table and find sales order table. Well, we double click it. There we go. We know that we need to return all the fields of sales order. So the first thing is the same with query 1. We drag all the attributes down here. Well, here I need to say that it is not a big work when you have only like 4 or 5 fields. We can drag each field one by one down here. But what if we want to return all the attributes that where a table has like 100 attributes? If we still drag each attribute one by one down here, it wastes a lot of time. So here is a shortcut to display all the fields. That is to drag the star sign here. Well, that means before the order number, you can see a star sign here. A star sign means all the attributes. All the attributes. So in the first query, we can also use the star sign to show all the attributes. But here, since we want to define a criteria, we cannot use the star sign. We have to, in the second query, we have to drag each field one by one down here. Okay, now we have dragged all the fields down here, and next we need to define the criteria, which is the orders placed by customer 102. So here we find CNO field. Here it is. And in criteria, you can see the criteria. Here, we type equal sign 102. So here is how we define the criteria equals to 102. All right. Now we have created a query with criteria. Now we can go back to datasheet view to see the results. Only the orders placed by customer number 102 are displayed here. They are order 102, 105, and 108. All right, this is query 2. You can save it. And keep its original name by default, query 2. Okay. Next, I'm going to create a query that returns the inventory's item number, description, and selling price, whose quantity on hand is less than 700. Well, this is the difference between the third query and the second query. In the second query, it requires to list all the fields, but in the third query, it requires to list only part of the fields. 3 attributes: item number, description, and selling price, whose quantity on hand is less than 700. So we click query design to start the third query. We know that this query works with items. So we find the table inventory. So the next thing is to drag the attributes that we're interested in. These three attributes are item number, description, and selling price. Item number, description, and selling price. Next, we need to define the criteria. The criteria is, well, in this query, the criteria should be placed on another attribute, quantity on hand. So we still have to drag quantity on hand attributes down here. We know the criteria is less than 700. So here we place the criteria less than 700. But it's not done yet. It's not done yet. Because here we can see the requirement is to display only 3 attributes: item number, description, and selling price. We do not want quantity on hand to be placed, but we still have to drag these attributes down in order to place a criteria. So what we do is to hide it. How can we hide the information in these fields? We uncheck show. We uncheck show. So it means the criteria on these attributes is applied, but in the result view, this attributes is not displayed. So now let's go back to data view, a data sheet view, to see the results. Okay, we can see the item number, description, and selling price are displayed here, but quantity on hand is not displayed. But this query also this query applies the criteria defined under quantity on hand. However, these attributes is hidden. It is not displayed. So this is the third query. We need to close this query and define a name. We use the name by default. Click OK. OK. Here we have query 1, query 2, and query 3. Okay, the last one. To design a query that returns the contact number, EID, date, contact that are contacted by the customers whose credit limit is less than $200. Okay, here is a hint. We can find the contact number and EID from one table. Oh, the contact number, EID, and date contact from one table, and credit limit from another table. To be specific, we still go to query design. To be specific, we can find the context information, their contact number, EID, and date contact. These three attributes can be found in context table. But our criteria is about credit limits, which is an attribute that cannot be found in context table. The fact is that these attributes can be found from customer table. You can see the credit limit here. So, here we can design a query that are related to more than one table. So you can see when we drag context table here and customer table here, this relationship line is automatically created. Means these two tables have relationships, one-to-many relationships connected by C and O, customer number fields, which is a primary key in customer table, and a foreign key in context table. So let's go back to our query. We want the contact number, EID, and date contact to be displayed. EID and date contacted. Well, our criteria should be defined using CR limit or credit limit, where credit limit can be found under customers table. So we drag this from customers table down here. The first thing is to define our criteria. Credit limit is less than $2,000. So less than 2,000. And also we want the last attributes to be hidden. So we uncheck show. All right, now here is how I create the last query. We can see the result of this query by switching to datasheet view. All right, there we go. We can see the results. Only 3 attributes are displayed: contact number, EID, and date contacted. Credit limit is not shown, but under credit limit attributes, we defined the criteria. All right, this is the last query. We can close it. and save it as query 4. Well, this is 4 sample queries showing in this class, and your last homework is all about these 4 sample queries. I give you the requirement of 4 sample for these 4 queries required in the homework, in the last homework. And these 4 sample queries in homework are very similar to the 4 sample queries introduced in this class. So this is how you do your last homework. Okay, before we leave, I still want to introduce another thing. That is how to create a table. How to create a new table in Access. We can see in this database, we have cache, collections, contacts, table, etc., etc. But now we want to create a new table showing the records about the customers. I mean, in this database, we do not have the customers table. We want to create a new table. So this is how we create a new table. We click Create tab and find Table Design. Okay, here. In this view, we can add different fields. These different fields should be the first fields need to be, oh, let's go back to this. The first field should be CNO, which means customer number. The data type of this should be number. Well, we know CNO, which means customer number, should be the primary key of this table, because in this slide, there is a table rule saying every table must have a designated primary key, which is a unique identifier of every row in the table. So this is how we define these fields to be the primary key. We click primary key here. You can see a K displayed before this field. It indicates that this field has been defined as the primary key. Well, in addition to C and O, we still have name fields. We click yes, we just click yes. The name fields need to be short text. And also address. Address should be short text. And phone number. The phone number should be short text. Well, I know you're confused here. Why don't we define phone number to be number? Because it is not real numbers. to be a number, we have to meet this criteria. That's the numbers, the calculation in this field is significant or has some meanings. But regarding to phone number, when we do the calculation, like with this phone number plus that phone number, what does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. No. So we should define the phone number also as short text. Next attributes balance. Balance should be currency. The last field to be credit limit. Also, it should be currency. Well, this is how we define the attributes as well as the primary key in the table. And we go back to the datasheet view. Here we can click yes to save this table. We rename this table to be customers and click OK. Well, here this new table is created. We can add the first record simply by typing. Well, the first customer has the customer number to be 101 and the name, let's see, ABC Corp. Address to be 123 Annie Street. Phone number to be 800 987 1234. Balance to be $60 and credit limit to be $1,000. And similarly, we can add the records of the second customer. Name to be DF. Address to be 333 Here Drive. And phone number to be 800 755 8765. Balance to be 60 balance to be 66 and the credit limit to be, let's see, 2,500, etc., etc. You can add the records by typing. All right. When you have finished your typing work, you can simply close this table. And now the contents in the table are automatically saved. Close it. The contents are saved. Let's see what else. Table rules, relationships, and also I showed you how to design the queries. All right, I think that there's nothing left in this class. Okay, all right, that is the end of this class. In this class, I showed 4 sample queries, and these 4 sample queries are very similar to your last homework. I hope you enjoyed this class and do well on your last homework. So, before you leave Please let me know if you have any questions. No? Okay. I will see you on this Wednesday. Bye bye, guys. Have a good day.